Hello, Sagittarius. It is time for your weekly reading. This one is for August 9th to 15th, 2021. I have my window open and I hope it's not too horrible for you to hear me because we've got motorcycles, we've got trains banging together, we've got kids screaming, we've got birds chirping maniacally. So it's noisy out there. And then, because I have the window open, the pollen's coming in, and I have a coughing fit or a sneezing fit every few minutes. But the alternative is, if the window is closed, my room gets really stuffy. And then I feel like putting on a fan, and that would be even noisier than all the rest of it. So I hope you can hear everything, and that it all makes sense, and that you won't be too annoyed with me for being so technically bereft. So I'm going to do a quick and easy 9-card reading. And we're going to see how your week plays out. I hope it's amazing. Okay, my fiery Sagittarius. Let's see where we go with this thing. I haven't seen him in a while. Wow. Everybody's getting the Hierophant. Wowee. Okay. Ooh, nobody's getting the Magician, though, but you are, my darlings. That's good. Oh, this card's not great. Okay, so let's dive into the not so hot first. It's not the end of the world or anything, but there's worry, there's anxiety, there's something going on that you're worried about, like really worried. Traumatized a bit. 9 of Swords. This is definitely a card. Some people call this a card of sleepless nights. I just say it's a card about worrying and rehashing and really being very upset about something. It can be anything. It can be something that's going on right now. It can be, you know, something you're carrying into the future from the past. A lot of times we beat ourselves up about things over and over again. You guys are very fiery people, very passionate people. And a lot of people think that because I'm Aries, so I'm also fiery and passionate. And we fire signs, a lot of people think that because we have a lot of fun and we're very exuberant about life and stuff that we don't feel anything. But passionate people feel things very deeply. So I understand sometimes you can beat yourself up or something's going on maybe that you're worried about. Maybe it's not even warranted. Sometimes it isn't, but often it is. So we have to get to the bottom of it and try to get rid of it as soon as you can, because I want you to have a happy and great, wonderful, fiery life, not be going through all of this nonsense. Then we've got a card that also keeps coming up for everybody right now, which is very interesting to me. This is a card I quite like. Some people don't love it. It's the 7 of Cups. It's a card about choices. You've got all these choices and you have to somehow make the right decision. Maybe some of this anxiety is about these choices. I'm not sure. I'm going to guess it's not that, because having options is good. And, you know, unless you're really like messed up over the choice and really struggling, I'm going to say it's not that. But, you know, it'll be different for each and every one of you. In any case, you've got choices between things. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. Some of them are cups full of jewels. Some of them are cups full of iguanas that look terrible and snakes and this head, which I have yet to determine whether it's a person that we maybe perhaps want to pick, or if it's a severed head, which obviously is not something super positive. Every time I see it, I think, is the choice to murder the person? You know, but that's me with my imagination running wild. And it is a card that's quite imaginative, because sometimes when we're making choices, we let our imagination go to worst case scenario. Sometimes worst case scenario is not the worst way of looking at things, because there's some people who are so worried about things that when you say to them, okay, what's the worst case scenario in this situation? Okay, the world explodes, we all die. That's the worst case scenario, but that's probably not going to happen. So then what's the worst case scenario? Okay, the plan fails. Is that really going to kill you? No. But let's look at the better case scenario, which is the plan goes perfectly and, you know, produces all kinds of wonderful things. So sometimes it's a good way of looking at things, but get all your facts straight. Really look at this with a mind that's, you know, looking at the different scenarios, and you'll make the right decision. You really will. Have some confidence in yourself. You're Sagittarius. You're powerful. So this card's not going to be bad at all. This card is, first of sorry, I knew that was coming. So the first thing I ask when I see this card, because it's about like hand-to-hand combat, is, are you in martial arts? If you are in martial arts, you're always going to get this card. It's just a given. If you are not in martial arts, it usually means arguing, conflict. And it often is conflict at work, particularly if you work in an office situation, because it can mean, that backstabby, gossipy, triangulating people do behind people's backs in offices. It's not good. But you can just ignore the conflict if nobody's actually coming at you with a stick. You can just ignore the conflict and don't give it a second of thought. Just concentrate on what you're doing and do a great job at it. Because you don't have to worry about these petty little people. You really, really don't. So think about that and eliminate the people from your life who are doing this sort of thing. If you know about it. If you don't know about it, you know what? I'd say don't worry that much about it. People worry about things like gossip, for example. They worry about it. They traumatize over it sometimes. They do all kinds of things about it. Who cares if people gossip about you? They have no life. So, they're going to gossip about you or somebody else. So let them have their little nonsense. And you just concentrate on you because you've got actual things to do. And that's a fact. Then you've got, I'm trying to think of the order we want to do this in. Then we've got this card, the Four of Pentacles. So everybody thinks this card is like a really negative card, a card of the hoarder, a card of somebody who's stingy, who's hanging on to every last penny. But that isn't really how this card works. It can be those things, but sometimes you're saving for something. Sometimes you can't go out to dinner with your friends because you're saving to buy a house. Sometimes, for the greater good, you're sacrificing something temporarily. Sometimes it's hanging on, maybe too tightly, to something you love, like your kids, if you have kids. I know that's what this card means for me quite often. I want to have my kids with me. I want to socialize with them. I want to be with them. I mean, they're really important to me. And sometimes you do have to let go, maybe more than you want to. And I know that's the case for me. So I think sometimes the card comes up to just illustrate the point that I do feel like that, and which is some of the reasons I might have anxiety or something. But I think also the card comes up to tell me, okay, you got to let go a little bit. You can't always have your way about any of this stuff or anything in life, maybe, unless it's something you can specifically orchestrate right this instant, because my kids are not little kids. So you can't always control everything. I'm a bit of a control freak. I find that difficult. I can't always control what I want. You guys are very fiery people. Maybe you have the same issue. Just throwing that out there. So then we've got the Star, which is a beautiful card of rebirth and renewal and hope, which a lot of people don't have these days. They think the world is hopeless. They think everything's going to hell. They don't think there's any hope for anything, but I promise you there is. There absolutely is. We can put all kinds of amazing energy out there and all kinds of things can change. We just don't know right this second how it's going to go, but there's some adventure in that too. This is a time for rebirth, for changing up what's going on, because we have the power to do all kinds of things, and we can create new industries, we can create new ideas, we can not go along with everything that everybody else is doing like a bunch of sheep. We can do things that are different, and we can be renewed, and things can go well. I mean, just stay optimistic. There's all kinds of good stuff on the horizon. There is. I guarantee it. So then we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is all about going into yourself. We're getting a lot of these kinds of cards today. The Hermit, the High Priestess, the Four of Swords. Cards where you need to go within to tap into that inner wisdom, that beautiful, beautiful inner wisdom you have inside of you. It's your birthright. You've been given this because you need it in life. And so trust it. Go find it. It's yours. It's like something you've inherited. It's in your DNA. It's wonderful. So go tap into that and trust your instincts. You know more about you than anybody else knows about you, and that is a fact. Reflect. Look at the evidence. know that your judgment is good. Know that you are on the right track. Know that you are the one who gets to conduct how you operate in this world. You are that person. You are the person who orchestrates your life. Then we have, let's go here. We've got the Hierophant. The Hierophant is about a life milestone. It can be a baptism. It can be a birth. It can be anything in the church, so to speak. A baptism, a marriage. It typically means a marriage. A retirement. It doesn't have to be in the Catholic Church, but it's sort of all based on that. It can also be a baptism in some other religion or some other religious ceremony. It can be a civil ceremony that's a marriage or some other thing. It doesn't even have to have, any of the typical definitions we have. But it is some kind of life milestone. Know that. That is a fact. Some of us don't love the Hierophant because we think it is following the status quo, that it's doing what typical people do in society. As much as I might say that, I also do like traditional things. Even though I might not do them, it doesn't mean they offend me or I don't like them. I actually do like them. Especially I like them when it comes to holidays. But I also like them. I'm not against marriage. Have I always gotten married? Well, actually I always have. But I lived together first with a couple of people. And so I'm not like entrenched in marriage. But and you know what? It's the same thing legally anyway nowadays. So I'm sure either way it would come to the same card. So anyway, doesn't matter. Some life milestone is happening for either you or somebody close to you. A lot of times this card will come up if you're the person getting married, but I know a lot of people recently who are, bridesmaids and people involved in other weddings, people going to stags for their best friends and all that kind of stuff. And this card just comes up because they're around this spirit of the wedding and all of the stuff that's going on with that. So it's a good card in many ways. But then we get to this, and this is where life gets pretty damn exciting. The Victory card, Six of Wands. This is a card, maybe you're emerging victorious over this nonsense, but I'm going to say it could be a promotion. It could be something where you're recognized for your achievements in some area, often work. Could be a sport. Could be anything. Could be you lose a bunch of weight and then everybody recognizes that you're fabulous because now you're healthier. It could be anything that you're doing that's an accomplishment for the positive. And so that's what the Victory card's all about. You riding into town with your laurel wreath in the air. Ta-da! Winner. This is a good card. You guys are definitely winners, and this is a good card for you. Some kind of accomplishment is going to give you a confidence boost. It's going to be good for you. And then there's this beautiful card, one of my favorites in the deck, one of the ones I call a power card, the Magician. The Magician means that you have all of the suits of the tarot cards at your disposal. You have the Passion, the Cup, to love deeply, to create passionate situations. You have the Wand to create whatever you want, to put things into action. You've got the Pentacles, to invest in things, money, health, longevity, people, all the things that are important investments in your world. And you've got the Sword, the intellect, seeking out truth and clarity. You've got all of those things. You've got the eternity symbol over your head to show that you are an eternal being, that you have power, that you can pull the power. See this symbol, this arm in the one arm in the air and the other one, lowered. This is as above, so below. I can pull the power of the universe right down to me, right down here on earth. I can just pull it down. And that is what you can do. You are the magician. You are the magician of your own life. You rule what happens. You have power. Never forget that you have power. Don't let anyone take away your power. Don't you take away your power. And always know that you are a powerful being. And you're going to have a great week. And good things are going to happen to you. You've got amazing things coming in. So I'm going to talk to you soon, my darling Sagittarius. And I wish you the best. And have a great week ahead. Take care.